Hey y'all, welcome back. This is the video that so many of you have been waiting for. This is the Breast Cancer Awareness Wreath collaboration between myself and my friends Julie from Julie's Wreath Boutique and Michelle from A Noble Touch. So when you get done watching this video, if you could, head on over to their channels and watch their videos. The links are going to be in the description box. When you're over there, leave them a comment with a purple heart so that they know that you came from my channel. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this. All right, y'all, let us get started. First off, what you are going to need, this awesome sign from Mel's Crafty Mojo and this ribbon. Now, you remember in the video that I posted a while back, I gave you a heads up about where to get the supplies for this collaboration that was coming up. Now, if you head on over to Mel's, the link is in the description box, and I'll also pin a comment. If you head over there and you don't see this sign, she also has another one. Excuse me, for breast cancer awareness. The letters are solid black, and then this trim around the edge here is buffalo check. It is really pretty. It's really nice. So when you're done watching this, head on over there and get all your supplies so that you can make one. She has mesh, ribbon, just all kinds of really awesome stuff. So we have this ribbon, and then we have this sign. We also have a 14-inch wire wreath frame. My frame came from Dollar Tree because I buy these things by the case, and I have a ton of them. But Mel has frames and all of that over on her site so that you can order them. Just a standard 14-inch. And then for my mesh, I'm using pink, white, and black. This is 10-inch mesh. And at this exact moment, I don't know how many rolls I'm going to use. But in most of my videos, once we get to the end, then I'll have a better idea. And I'll be able to tell you exactly how much I use. So I'm going to get this sign and the ribbons out of the way, and let us start working with this mesh. All right, so for the mesh, I have the pink on top of the white here. I just have them layered right on top of each other like so. And if you've watched my burlap ruffle wreath videos, then you know how to do this already. But we're going to be working around this center one right here. Not this one, not this third one, around this one right here. So there's the outer one, and then here's this one. So we're going to be working around. So anyway, I have my mesh layered, and we're going to put our wreath form on top of it. And you're going to take one end and pull it up like so. Take your other end and pull it up on the other side of that bar. So let's just pull this up like so. And now you see how you have sandwiched that bar right there in between your mesh. And you're just going to make sure it doesn't get caught on your frame. Just keep pulling it up like this. Okay? And you see how that's sandwiched in between there? Just keep pulling it up like so. And I've got a little hangy doohickey on my frame here that this is wanting to catch on. You hold it like that and then just scooch it over like so. And you see how this is starting to ruffle up. And then you're going to do that again. And then however many times, oh, there's a piece of yarn. However many times you need to fill up your little section here. And depending on, if you're using mesh from Mel's, hers is pretty good quality. But depending on the type of mesh and brand of mesh that you use, some's thicker than others. So you might have to put more in a section to get it to the fullness that you want. So anyway, I'm just going to keep pulling it up and scrunching it over until I get this section full. All right, so this section is full, and you can see about how much mesh I have there, and that's looking pretty good. I am pretty happy with that. So now, what we're going to do is you're just going to skip this bar. See that right there? Just skip this bar, and then you're just going to bring it under the bar and feed it back up through, and then just start pulling it up and making your little ruffles again. Just pull it up tight, like so, and then you're going to have a little bit that sticks out the back where that crossbar is. Just kind of pull it up with your fingers like that. You see how I'm just kind of pulling it up? If not, you're gonna have like a big bubble back here. Just pull it up a little bit. Just keep feeding it through, and then just work your way all the way around your wreath frame. So I'm gonna do that, and then we'll come back and do some more. Okie dokie, so I have made my way all the way around the wreath frame here, and I know that my angle is terrible, and I'm sorry, but you work with what you've got. But anyway, we are at the end. And this is how much mesh I have left over from just these one rolls. So you'll need one roll of pink and one roll of white. Now what I'm going to do is, I want to flip it over so y'all can see what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just taking scissors and I'm just going to trim this off. And I'm just going to put this mesh over there and we'll roll that back up here in a minute. And now I have my zip tie and I'm just going to take the end here and I'm just going to zip tie it. You know what? Let's go this way. I'm just going to zip tie it down just like that and it's going to hold it in place. Okay. Tighten that down and then we just trim off the end and there we go. All right, so now we have this and I know it's looking sparse, but you know what? Give me a little bit. We're going to fill it up here in a minute, okay? So now we have that. Okie dokie. So let us start with our black and I have one roll of the black here. I'm not going to be doubling it up because I am only using the one roll. So anyway, we are going to be doing the exact same thing that we did over here. But you see this one right here? Not this inner one. And I need to fix that. I didn't realize that was broken until just a little bit ago. But not this inner one here, but this one right here. You're going to be doing the exact same thing that you did with these ruffles here, but right there. And we're going to be using the black mesh for that. So anyway, I'm probably going to knock some stuff off this table because I've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm filming Halloween too. We're going to bring it up. And then right here, I also tried to raise my camera up a little bit so you might could see a little bit better. See how I just pulled that up like that? And then we're just going to scrunch it over and do the exact same thing all the way around that we did here, but with this mesh. Okie dokie. So I have all of the black mesh on and that's laying over to the side, but I want to show you what we're going to do for a bow. So anyway, for the ribbon, I cut 3 pieces at 18 inches. And for this ribbon, I cut 3 pieces at 15 inches. And I took my trusty glue gun here, which I'm going to tell you where to get that in the description box. I will have a link to where I get my glue gun. So 18 inches, and then I glued the ends together to make a loop. This is 15 inches, and I glued the ends together to make a loop. So now what we're going to do, and I think I'm going to hold this together with a zip tie. I have these little thin zip ties here. We're going to take one loop and see this is the ends that we glued together. I want that to be on the back, okay? So then I'm just going to scrunch that down like so. And it made like a little bow. And now we're going to do the same thing with this one here. I'm just going to scrunch it down and we're just putting it right on top of each other like so. And then we're going to do the same thing with this third loop. If you're having trouble holding this, you can use pipe cleaners to hold it in place till you get everything put together. You can use a hair clip, clothespin, whatever. And now I'm just going to take this zip tie and I'm going to go all the way around. Well, I said I was. All 3 of them. I'm just going to fasten them together. Before you really tighten it down, try to make sure that you have it centered. I used to make cheer bows for a friend of mine. Her little girl was in cheer, and I used to make their bows, and I thought that I would use that same design for this. Now, let me find my scissors. A cat jumped up here a while ago. I didn't know she was in here, and she knocked my scissors down. All right, so there's that. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with these 3 pieces and put them together just like we did that. So let me get another zip tie. But anyway, while I'm doing that, listen, what I want you to do, I want you to go down in the comments and tell me a little bit about how breast cancer has affected you. Are you, currently fighting? Do you know someone who lost their battle? Do you know someone else who's currently fighting? I think it's very important to support each other and to not ever forget those, who've lost their battle with breast cancer. So go down in the comments and just tell me about someone. I think it's important to honor them. So go down there and just tell me about it. Tell me a little bit about their story, your story, and just offer each other some support. I know my grandmother, when I was little, she had surgery to remove a mass from her breast. And she got well from that. And then years later, they detected cancer in her lymph nodes. It had spread, and that was eventually what took her life. But And I fought a battle of my own. It was a different type, but I fought that battle and won. So yeah, this is a topic that is that's pretty important to me. It really is. So anyway, let's probably just heard my little boy sneezing in the background. So let's put this zip tie on here. Just do the exact same thing that we did over there. Let's get everything spread out. And I'll fluff these loops out here in a second. Let me just get it all tightened down. I think that's centered. I think. So anyway, I'm not going to fluff it all out really till I get it on the wreath and get everything in place. But let me try to see. There we go. Let's try to pull that over a little bit. Okie dokie. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these together. So I'm going to get another zip tie and I'm going to loop it around. I've got so much going on this table here. I'm getting into Halloween stuff now too. So I'm trying to get my Halloween crafts together and, you know, all that. So let's put this on here. Actually, let's flip that over and bring this around to the back. Seeing as how we already got one of these little nubbies on the front, let's just flip her around. All right. And now let me get a piece of the plain pink ribbon here. And I'm going to put this in the center to cover all this up. I'm just going to push that. There we go. We're going to put that in the center to cover it up. Get that out of the way. I'm just going to throw that over there. Let's see if I want to do that. I might want to fold it in half. I think that will work better. Or let's see. Might just fold it like so. And I think that might work. Just going to glue that right there. And I'm just going to fold these ends over. And then I'll fold the other end over like that. And glue that in place. And I'm going to give myself a few inches. Work my way downwards, folding the ribbon and gluing it in place. So let me do that. Okay, so this is the little piece that I just glued. And now I'm just going to put a big old blob of hot glue on the back there. And I'm going to glue this down and I'm going to wrap it around like so, just to cover up the center. And then we'll glue that in place and I'm going to hold it in place while this glue cools down. Okay, so here is the bow that I have, and now I'm going to start working on some tails. So let's lay that there. And first off, let's take this ribbon, because I want, you know, you to be able to see this. And I'm just going to measure out here to see about how long I want that tail. I want the tail kind of long. Okay, like so. And I know that it's going to be difficult to do. We're going to have to cut this into 2 pieces, okay, because I want this to be upright. So I'm just going to cut that about right there, and we can always trim off the end of the tails. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to cut 2 pieces like that. Yep, that looks good. And then I'm going to dovetail the ends here. Like so. Right up there. Up into the end of that ribbon there, I think looks okay. It's kind of hard to get, you know, all the words and all the design in at once. Okay, and now I'm going to, y'all probably saying I make bows in a strange way, but you know what? This is the way I do them. If you don't want to do them the way I do them, you don't have to. Nobody's making you. Just going to cut that like so. And now we're going to do the pink, but I don't want the pink to be as long as this. So we're going to draw that up a little bit. I'll cut that there. You're basically just cutting these at different lengths, okay? Okay, so I'm going to layer the pink because that's the shortest one. We're going to layer that on top of our leopard print here and try to get the ends even, like so. And now let's find the center. And then we'll take the center and I'm just bending it down like that. And that's going to make a tail. Now I have these tiny little zip ties. I'm just going to wrap it around right here just to hold that in place. Like that. I'm trying to get this pulled through. There we go. I can hear the other bow makers out there saying, what is she doing? This is the way I do it. All right, so we have that laid down. That's not quite even. I'll trim the tail of that. Okay, that looks okay. So now I'm just going to tighten that up and trim it off. Okay, now I'm going to dovetail the ends of that. Okay, so let's take this off. I just trimmed off the very top there. And you see how I have 4 pieces of our ribbon. I've got them all laid up here together. I'm going to glue them together. That's what I'm going to do. Just going to glue that together like so. I want to make sure that my bottoms down here are all even. And you see how I kind of have them fanned out? There we go. I'm just gluing that together, and then I'm just going to tack it down here and here with the glue, just to make sure that they all stick together. I'm not using a whole lot of the glue, okay? Because you use a whole lot of the glue, then it's going to get all lumpy and not look as nice. So I'm just tacking it down, and I'm going to let that dry. Well, set up, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm just going to cut straight across and kind of angle it so that our bow will be sure to cover it. Okay, that is all stuck down, and the glue has set up, and now I'm just going to glue that down right in the center, like so. Okay, and then we're going to glue this bow on top. I know y'all are saying, oh my gosh, she's using so much hot glue on a bow. I like these types of bows. So just make sure that everything is covered. I'm just going to press it down. And if you don't feel comfortable with just the hot glue, I don't know how hot it is, you know, where you live. You can put everything together with the hot glue, and then a lot of times I go back and just tack it down in various places with E6000. And it all holds together very, very nicely. I've never had one of these to fall apart or come apart. And yeah, that's why I make them like this. But anyway, I'm going to let all this set up, and then we'll put it on the wreath. Okay, so now we're going to put these on our sign and attach the sign to the wreath. These are cable tie mounts. I will have a link where you can get those. Look in the description box. But basically what they are, these little doohickeys right here, and you see those openings right there? That is where you stick these on something, and then you run the zip tie through them and then fasten it down. Now this here's like a sticky pad, so you could just pull this little protective doohickey off, and now it is sticky. But anyway, what I like to do is I stick these down with some hot glue and some E6000. Now, some people take these little pads off. These are the outdoor kind, okay? And they can withstand a whole lot of weather and a whole lot of heat. If you want to pull these pads off, they can be a pain in the tushy to get off. If you want to take them off, that's up to you. For me, I'm going to leave mine on. And then what I'm going to do is take this E6000. This is an old tube. I'm down to the last little bit. And what I do sometimes is kind of silly, is I'll cut like a little notch in the side of the tube just to make sure that I can get every last little bit of that glue out. So I've got my E6000 on there, and I hope my glue gun is hot enough. I'm just going to put a blob of hot glue like that, and then we're going to stick it down. Now the hot glue is going to hold everything in place immediately, well, you know, when it cools down. And then the E6000 is going to give us like a long-term hold. All right, so I'm going to use 3. I want to stick 3 of these on there. Okay, I went ahead and attached the sign. Let me tell you why. Because I was flip-flopping it around, and it was aggravating to try to do on camera and keep everything in frame. So let's just flip it over right quick, and you can see where I ran the zip ties around this innermost ring. And I did not tighten them all the way down, because if you flip it over and look, this mesh is holding your sign up, okay? It's not going anywhere. The zip ties have it firmly in place, and I didn't want to sink it down too far into the wreath, because then the mesh here is going to overlap it and cover up all of this beautiful design around the edge here. So I didn't want that. But anyway, now let's get the bow. Where did I put the darn bow? Here it is. Now for the bow, this loop right here that we put around the center, you can take a pipe cleaner, you can use a zip tie, whatever you want, and just run it through that, and then attach it to your wreath frame. So I'm thinking what I might do, maybe staying in with the theme of zip ties. I don't know, because my zip ties are pretty short. We'll see. We'll see. So let me see if I can get this through here. Might have to cut the video again if it's going to take me a second. No, I think I see it. Nope, hold on. There we are. Okay, so I have my zip tie through the bow right there. And then we're just going to use that to attach it to the frame. So let's try to... I don't want to get it, you know, too close because I don't want to cover up anything on this pretty sign. So I think right about here is going to be okay. And I'm just going to take the zip tie, run it down through the mesh, and just attach it to whichever ring of the wreath frame I can to make it be in the position where I want it to be. I'm just going to run that down and fasten it. Okay, so the bow is on, and yes, I need to go back and fluff it out. But all I did with the, just like we attached the sign, I just ran the zip ties down through the mesh. And that's another reason why I like using these little thin zip ties like this, is when you're using deco mesh that has the bigger holes in it, you can run it through the mesh. It might take you a second to work it through, but you can run it through the mesh at any point that you need to get down to the frame to attach it. So that's why I like that. But anyway, I'm going to call this wreath finished, because like I said, I wanted to keep it simple. Not a lot of frills, just really simple, straightforward, and easy. So I hope they enjoyed this video. If you would, please give it a thumbs up. Check me out on social media, the links to all of which are in the description box down below. And I hope to see y'all next time. Bye!